All right. I think we're good. Are we here? Are we alive? I'm alive. How are you? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Huh? Today, if you're here in the United States, what's wrong with my lighting? Oh, I don't have my studio light on. That's okay. That's all right. I don't need any extra lighting. Metal says, will Zito ever not cook? What did I miss? Did I miss something? I haven't. You guys are the first time I'm looking at a screen in about Oh, the headache came back middle of the of the second period, the last game. I just didn't say nothing. That's why I got the score wrong in the recap because I was already just anxiously awaiting closing my eyes again. So at least I didn't have to watch the Dolphin game. At least I didn't have to watch the Dolphin game. So fairly certain that um fairly certain that I know what was causing the migraines, but I don't want to speak too soon. I want to give it a few days. So how's everybody's vacation? Metal says Zito can sign McDavid 1 million for 8 years and you still won't get GM of the year. Yeah, right. That's true. That's well, they say it's because of his drafting. So the more that Lundell does, the more that Samoskevich does. Right now, he didn't draft Spencer Knight, so he's not going to get any credit there. In fact, that's a deterrent because of the contract that he gave to him. Right? Not that I'm knocking Spencer Knight; he played good. I'm just saying that how he hasn't won yet. I don't know what he would need to do. Like if he hasn't won already, there's no way he's going to win. I mean, I guess maybe if they win the cup again this year, they might say, "Oh, well, now we'll give him GM of the year because he, like that's 2 years in a row he's lost a bunch of guys and kept the team together and won the cup." Right? You would, I mean, like Lamorello won it 2 times in a year, two times in a row a couple years ago, and the Islanders didn't do crap. Metal, yeah, I'm good enough. I mean, I'm not going to do a full hour here today. In fact, let me turn my bright. Well, I can't turn the brightness down because then I can't see your comments. But that helps. I can do it that way. Okay. Yeah, we won't do a full hour because there's no games anyway. But I just wanted to come on and touch base. So obviously, right now, all of the skits and all of that they're on timeout right now. I'm having to I don't want to get into a whole long thing, but I'm having to reevaluate what I'm doing. We'll just put it that way. With the time that I'm spending on everything and the amount of time I'm spending editing and looking at screens and everything. So we'll worry about that down the road. Hey, Sports Shorts. Damien says, we can get Tom Wilson in a trade with Bennett and Kachuk line. Well, then where are you putting? What are you going to do? Move Rodriguez? Well, no, because then, hey, no, we can't trade for anybody. No trades. You want to trade for somebody? Trade for a defenseman. No forwards. Nothing that's going to knock Samoskevich out of the lineup. 58 says, based on his reactions at the parade, I think he would rather win the cup every year than win GM of the year. Yeah. No doubt. I agree with that. Paulie says, suffering from migraines too. I really feel you. I was here in Tampere to watch the games. I've been a Panther fan since Barkov was drafted. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Hey, thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Vincent. Oh, man. I'm okay. They haven't killed me yet. I'm pretty sure I know what was causing them. I mean, other than my normal eye tiredness, but I don't want to say it yet because I don't want to jinx it. But I think I might have figured out what was at least causing this round. So we'll see. If nothing comes back by tomorrow, then I'll know. Middle says no Matthews tonight for Bruins at least. But he's supposed to be out a few weeks, right? Like almost the same length that Barkov was out. Yeah, Great White. Jags are 2-7. The Finns are 2-6. The Bucks are 4-5. Yeah, but at least Tampa Bay is actually decent, right? Like the Finns and Jags deserve each other, but Tampa Bay is like at least they're, maybe a smidgen above mediocre. Yeah, Barkov for president. How you doing, Paul? Why don't we just have Maurice for president? Huh? Why don't we just have that? We voted. Not only did we vote, but the two if there's any 3-letter agencies listening, this is a joke. But for the rest of you, this is actually a true story. There was an elderly couple that lived in this house before we moved in. And when the first election we were here, which would have been 2016, we got their ballots in the mail. And I called the state. I said, hey, we got too many ballots here. We got the ballots for the 2 people that are not with us anymore. And they were like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just throw them away. But they never stopped sending the ballots. So the last 2 elections, I've sent in those ballots. One ballot, I write in Darryl Hall, and the other ballot, I write in John Oates. That's true unless you're going to come after me for fraud, and then I'm just making shit up. Wink, wink. But yeah, I got him again this year. You would think that at some point they would catch on. I mean, I've been in this house 10 years, and they died a few years before I got here. They just keep getting. We get, I guess, however many ballots it is, 5, 7 ballots. We just get all the ballots. Metal says day-to-day upper body is what they're saying. I thought it was an ankle with McDavid. What am I missing? I thought it was an ankle. Did he get hurt another way? Am I doing that thing again where I think I remember something and then I don't? It's getting bad. Matthews. Okay, Matthews. The Matthews, not McDavid. Okay, see? You got to you got to get up early to fool myself. Paul Marie says the FBI heard you. Yeah. That's okay. They go back. They'll check. They'll be like, he's not lying. Every year in Maryland for the last 3 elections, Hall and Oates have gotten one right and back. Well, if they're not going to stop sending them. So basically, all the dead people in Maryland probably vote too. Spaceman says pretty much the Cats and the Bolts are like the only teams in Florida doing well. Yeah, that would make sense. I haven't even seen what the Heat are doing with basketball or anything like that. But I mean, we're Cats are rolling, right? Panthers are rolling. They're just and like I don't want to. God, it's so different. It's so different now with this channel because for the first 5 years of the channel, it was easy. Press record, yell and scream, and 90% of whatever I bitched about, everybody said, yeah, that sounds right. You know what I mean? And now it's gotten to the point where we are cooking. We are in first place. And let's be honest. I don't really think they're trying. Are they even giving 70% effort? Like, are we even giving 70% effort? You know what I mean? Like, you can just tell they're just kind of like coasting for the most part. And every once in a while, it's like, hey, we need a goal. Turn it on for a couple minutes, get a goal, come back. I mean, the experience of being a fan of this team, like with the Dolphins, it's the same thing. Since I was 7, it's the same thing, right? Different variations. But to go from where we were when I started this channel in 2016, it didn't matter what. I could yell and scream about anything. And everyone's like, yeah, that guy sucks. And that guy sucks. And this one's. And it was because it was all true. And now, what am I supposed to complain about? Spaceman, wasn't I a Cats fan in the 90s? I've been a Cats fan since day one. Yeah. But they went to the Cup, then they traded Stu Barnes, and they were dog shit until recently, right? They have a peck of a year here every once in a while where they made the playoffs. But I'm talking about I'm talking about the years of the channel, It's like now, it's like, what could you complain about? They didn't auction off the robes. That's like the biggest complaint I got from this season so far. Like, where's my robe? Right? Yeah. That's like my two biggest complaints is they didn't send me a robe and Chucky didn't show up at my house with the cup. That's about it. That's about it. It's crazy. It's like surreal. Yeah, Mel says Okposo still hasn't scored. There's a complaint. Craig says, kind of like cruise control Cats versus now, the way they are now versus the last 25 years, right? Like I was telling Kyle, one of the games where we played bad and we lost at the beginning, I might have said this in the live stream. And I was talking about how like the 20, except the 1 year with the Islanders, but a lot of those teams in the 2010 to the 2015, 16s, they weren't bad enough to be terrible, but they weren't good enough to not be bad. But one thing you knew most nights, there was going to give effort every night. And now these guys, they're out there on a Sunday afternoon skate and they still win 8-2. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. She says, legitimately, how long can this course sustain this? 3, 4, or 5 years? Well, the biggest answer to that question is either A, Spencer Knight, or B, Bobrovsky. How long does Bobrovsky go? Right? There's that. Lundell's young, Luostarinen young, Sam Miskevich, obviously. The thing of it is Zito's ability to pluck guys and get them. Like by the time this core gets older in 3 or 4 or 5 years, whenever you're saying, as long as Zito is there, I have confidence that he'll be able to fill the holes. Now, of course, at some point we're going to run into cap, maybe not so much cap hell, but contract hell, right? But Amanda, I would think the answer would probably be closer to 5 than 3, depending on the goaltending. I mean, Barkov's 28. Is he 28? And I think he's the oldest of the bunch, right? Was it Barkov then Ekblad or Ekblad then Barkov? I forget. But so even when, now you start talking about 5 years now, and now everybody's 32, 33, 34, right? That's a bit much. So, and, everybody's signed. So there will be some kind of a bump in the road there. But really, the question is going to be like, we got Bob this year, we got Bob next year. Okay, so does he want to stay another year, another 2 years? What's Spencer Knight going to do? Right? Like I said, Knight and Ekblad to the Rangers for Shesterkin. Done. Solves a lot of problems. I know it's not going to happen. I'm just saying. The salary evens out. I doubt the I can't even say it without laughing. It'd be such a good deal. Charles wants to know why it took this long for the Panthers to be good. Ownership. Even this ownership group. Because we finally got the right guys with Viola and Sifu, and then they kind of meddled where they had to learn that maybe they should just not meddle in things. And then once they stopped meddling to the level they did with the changes with Gabranson and Kulikov and Tom Rowe and all of that garbage, once they just stop doing that, then, you got to hire the right people, though. It's not just an owner's, like Stephen Ross. People hate him. But Ross, if there's one thing Ross wants to do is win, right? He's a blank check. He's like, I want to win. But he doesn't hire the right people. So with Viola especially, because I know the real story. I can't tell you the real story. But let's just say it was Viola who fired Gallant. And it wasn't because the team was 11-10 or whatever the hell they were. Once he stepped out of his own way and just said, okay, we're going to hire the right people to run the team, then boom, right? And we just kind of just like fell into Bill Zito. Charles asking if I think the Flyers are the Dolphins of the NHL because they haven't won since the 70s. I would think more of the Leafs. The Leafs because of the fan base. The Flyers fan base is like its own category. Like Philadelphia, there's no other fan base like Philadelphia. They have their own category. Dolphin fans and Leaf fans have a lot in common because they haven't won in forever, yet every year they're arrogant to the point where they think there's no doubt in the world this is our year. My opinion, anyway. Amanda says, I can't imagine the Panthers without Barkov. I think he'll be here till he's like 36, 38. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think Barkov's not going to be going anywhere, right? But eventually you can't have a whole top 6 or 36-year-olds, right? Eventually, I think Barkov, Reinhart, and Reinhart are the two that I would say would finish out completely without any concern of a buyout. We don't know what Bennett's going to get. Chucky, it wouldn't shock me to see. Chucky's younger, though. He was younger when he signed that 8-year deal. I don't know. If they stay healthy and avoid anything, if they avoid like any more broken sternums and crap like that. But at some point, there'll be a contract or two where guys are just not worth the cheddar and they have to buy guys out. But that's 5 years down the road at least. Pacharo says the Maple Leafs are more the Cowboys just because they choke all the time in the playoffs. Well, I mean, Cowboys, Dolphins, same thing. Same thing. There was a lot of years. I mean, the Dolphins don't make the playoffs as much. It's arguable each way. That's not a bad analogy either, though. I says Josh Adamus knows what Benny will get. Yeah, I got to keep my mouth shut on what I know about because the room is bugged. Yeah, exactly, Vincent. The Penguins are doing that 36-year-olds thing. Yeah, exactly. Right? Keep Forsling till he's 75. He probably won't age. He probably still look like he's 22. Right? Spaceman says Cowboys and Leafs fans always say it's the year. That's true. Yeah, you're probably right there more about the Cowboys than the Dolphins. At one point, the Dolphins might have been more comparable to the Leafs, but they have not been able to be consistently good like the Leafs have and just find a way to screw it up every year. That's more like the Cowboys. I'll agree with that for sure. You good, Kyle? Okay, he's fine. So what do we got? We got Thursday night, right? Who we playing? What's the schedule? When do we get back to playing games? What am I looking at? I'm looking at this. Okay. I got a text and I got distracted. No, I don't want that. I want this. Okay, so we play Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. So we don't even have a back-to-back. When's our next back-to-back? Well, we don't got back-to-backs for a while. Oh, that's good news for my eyes. That second back-to-back, that second day game by the middle of the second period, that migraine came back. I'm okay now. 2 days in a row is tough. That's part of the reason why I stopped doing the football channel. But yeah, we got Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. There's a second in a row. So we've got some time there. All right. And then I know mid-December we've got the late games coming back up. 3, 4 in a row there. Jeez. All right, let's see. Spaceman says, anyways, the good thing is that when we played the Leafs and Habs at our home, we outnumbered their fans, but the fans, we have a problem outnumbering of the Rangers. Yeah, that's going to be a long time coming just because so many people there are New York transplants. You know, they kind of adopted the Panthers, right, as their team, but then when it's time to, you know, New York or Panthers, they're still going to put on the Rangers jersey. I says Forsling will coach the team after he retires. Yeah, Forsling and Reinhardt. I can't read this. Hold on a second. I got to blow it up. It's too blurry. What's Vincent saying? What if St. Martin and Hiroka going to play next year? What if? Where if? What if? What if? Who if? What about Sordif? There's only so much room on the team, right? There's only so much room on the team. Samoskevich ain't going anywhere. I mean, I guess eventually you're going to have guys like Giles and Sordif on that fourth line. Eventually, the fourth line won't always just be a collection of which veteran wants to jumpstart their career. But that's, with Paul Maurice, you want to, as long as that's all going, you want to win a cup and another one and another one. Yeah, Meadow says head coach Gustav Forsling has a nice ring to it. I wonder if he would want to do that. Reinhardt seems like the guy. They always talk about how smart Reinhardt is. No, for Forsling, I don't know. We'll have to see. Hey, Cliff, he says, do I think the Panthers would ever be considered as the away team for the Winter Classic? Awaiting. I mean, we got this one, right? We got the one in Finland, but we didn't get that because we won the cup. Because remember, it was scheduled before the playoffs even started last year. I'd love to see it. Panther fans made a good showing there in Finland. Team did good. There's just always going to be that little bit of a bias. And if we win too many times, we're kind of already there. We'll be that hated team. You know what I mean? Like if we win the conference again and win the cup again, they're gonna start hating us like the Chiefs, and it's gonna get worse. I says Barkov will be the GM after he retires with Lundell to follow. Don't leave out Luongo. Luongo will probably be, but they're all young guys anyway, right? Vincent says Sordif is a nice trade piece if you ask me. Well, eventually, right? I mean, at some point, there's only so much room on the team. Spaceman says Winter Classic game at Hard Rock or Raymond James or Lone Depot Park. Yeah, imagine a Panthers Winter Classic jersey, like ice blue, like an ice blue. Not like the blue on here, but like an ice blue. That would be nice. Yeah, right. I says Jaws will still be doing the recaps from a retirement home once you retire. Oh, that's the good part of. I always joke with Kyle about this, but it's like that's the good part about. Kyle probably will always live with me. It's like at some point that the switch will the switch will flip. I can't talk. At some point, the switch will flip, and it'll be him taking care of me. But I ain't holding my breath. Yeah, exactly, Dan. Everyone hates the winner. I says the nurse will be watching the games with Jaws in the retirement home. Sybil says, I didn't know Bill Zito and Aaron Ekblad were running for president. Are they on the same ticket? If they're not on the same ticket, that's an easy call, right? I like Amanda's idea. She says there should be a Winter Classic in Fenway Park, Panthers and Bruins. That'd be nice. That's actually a pretty good idea. It means they never do it, but that'd be a good idea. Ekblad's the VP. I see. Yeah. That's two things we've not had, right? Well, Vance is running for a VP, but we talked about the beard before, but we haven't had a president with a shaved head, right? We haven't, I don't think we've had like a bald president. We've had balding presidents. Yeah, I like Amanda's idea, Metal says. Spaceman says they should call the Panthers and Bruins series the JetBlue series since JetBlue has a partnership with those teams. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll have the ice blue jerseys, right? With the big that same patch that they had on those the robes. I gotta have one of those robes. I need one of those robes for the skits. I gotta have one of those robes. Jaws for president. Man, I get like 6 votes. I would get like 6 votes. I don't think me and politics would get along. I don't think I get along with politics too much. I have 2 modes: deep, 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 dark, undercover, and no filter. I don't think I'd work out too good in politics. Eventually, I would say the wrong thing, and that'd be the end of that. I says there's 26 people watching, so I get 26 votes at least. Yeah, but three quarters of that, those people they hate me. They're half the people watching. They're just waiting for me to say something stupid so they could post a clip to Twitter and say, "See, here's a dumbass." Yeah, 26 people on YouTube. There's 24 more elsewhere because my number says 50, but my number adds up everybody on Twitter. Hi, everybody watching on Twitter and on Facebook, and there's usually like one guy on Twitch. Who's Jaws vice president? Metal says Kyle. Well, because Fluffy died. Because Fluffy died. I would have won too, Jaws and Fluffy. I would have won that. Probably not. I don't know how that would have worked out. Yeah, we'll make Kyle vice president. Kyle should be the president anyway. Hey, I appreciate that, Chris. We'll make Kyle president. Huh? That would be well, when the channel blows up, right? Alatrion? I can't read it. That's because yeah, I would be Fluffy's vice president, right? Vincent says, stay I want to flip. What? I'm not sure what you said there, Vincent. Alatron says, I can't. Alatrion. Is there an R there? Okay, yeah, I see it now. My eyes are bad. Says, I can't wait for these Ekblad and Bennett extensions and Lusty when 2026 comes around. Yeah, that's another one, right? I mean, Luosterainen got a couple of years ago, but yeah, that's a good point. Luosterainen is going to need something. We're gonna see the Bennett one. I don't know what we're gonna do with Ekblad. That is just like I got less of a clue like who's gonna win the election today than I do about what they're gonna do with Aaron Ekblad. Or vice versa. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh boy. Civil says We should trade Sam Iskevich in a second for Dave Bolin and Lawson Krause. Now, don't be knocking Lawson Krause. All right? That's the other guy that we gave away that we wouldn't mind having on our fourth line. Meadow says, I think he meant to say something stupid. I want to flip. Yeah. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. I think Kyle's ride is here. Hold on a second. I don't want to fall over. Hold on. Yeah. All right. So Kyle's leaving. All right, Kyle. I'll see you later. All right. Love you too. Keep me posted. Okay. Vincent says, I rewatched the final highlights while Ekblad had his head spinning. It's just embarrassing, but he doesn't care. I mean, it's hard because we won a cup with him on the top pair, right? So obviously we can survive. I don't know. It's the more I watch his game, the more I realize that 80% of his mistakes come when he's trying to handle the puck. Like if he just got the puck and got rid of it, it would eliminate like 80% of his mistakes. Whether it's on the power play, whether it's at the blue, wherever it is, the majority of his mistakes come from, I don't know what it is, but when he starts, if you put pressure on him and he starts having to handle the puck, it's just like, oh, and it's down the other end of the ice. It's odd. Hey, Colin, how you doing? Yeah, Kyle getting picked up by a limo, right? Yeah, limo mom. She needs his help with something, so she's gonna buy him lunch. That's fine. That's good for me. That's less food. That's less money I got to spend on food. 58 says, yep, then he's chasing a 2-on-1. Kyle's going, he's going to help his mother with something that she needs his help with, so she's going to buy him lunch. So that works out for me. Alatron says, I'm being optimistic about Eki because I feel like it'd just be wrong to see him in another jersey. I mean, I don't think he's going to be gone. I just don't know what they're going to do with him. Him getting my internet just took a crap. He could get an 8-year deal at $2 million or a 2-year deal at $8 million, and I would be like, yeah, and then I wouldn't be surprised. Like, there's nothing they could do with him past like really overpay, which I don't think Zito is going to do, obviously. But there's not, what's the word I'm looking, the comparables. Like, where's your comparable for him in the league, right? What he was supposed to be, the injuries, what he turned out to be, but we still won a cup with him. It's like, it's hard to find a comparable to know what to do with him. He's not old, right? When you look at the 8-year contracts we've been getting everybody else, he's not that old. So we'll see. It depends on what Sam Bennett gets, I guess. It's hard to know. Vince is optimistic we'll be letting him go, right? I says, are we having oddly warm weather? Yeah, it's 70. It's 71. It's going to be 77 tomorrow. Like, I haven't run the heat yet. What are we, November 5th? I haven't run the heat yet. I haven't even tested the heat. I usually test the heat when I look out a week in advance and I start seeing upper 20s. That's when we start running the heat. If it's 36 degrees outside, this house is well insulated. It warms up during the day. I just close the windows at night. I go to bed. The house is 64. I wake up at 62. It's 35 outside, but the house stays nice and warm without the heat. We start getting into the mid-20s, then I need it. Nothing. Just nothing. Sybil says, Josh Mahura. You think he's a good comparable for Ekblad? It might be a bit. It might be a bit of a stretch. Bopa says last year was so fun to watch, but Reinhardt this season is just another level. Every time he's on the ice, you feel like something is going to happen. Go Panthers. That is true. That we got to give him his props. Yeah, props, because the dude got paid and just he's on a pace more than last year. Vincent says Verhaeghe, Lundell with Verhaeghe and Tkachuk. Here's my thoughts on that. If you're going to do that, let's put it this way, Vincent. If Zito makes the decision that you're going to move on from Bennett and put Lundell at 2C, the Luosterainen extension must happen at the same time. Don't do what Boston did with Ullmark and Swayman and blow all your leverage. If you're going to make the decision that Lundell's 2C, you better extend Luosterainen to be 3C at the same time. That's my thoughts that way. In terms of what I want him to do it, I mean, Lundell could still use to be a little bit better in the circle before I go tossing Sam Bennett out off to the side. If Bennett wants a 4-year deal at like $6 million, $6.5 million, I do it. You know. Yeah, I says if we don't extend him, it can be funny if Bennett ended up in Boston. Sybil says, I don't know. Tkachuk needs a high energy physical center to thrive. Yeah, I mean, if we can afford, I'd rather keep Bennett. But if push comes to shove and you're gonna do it with Lundell, you got to make sure that you pay Luosterainen. Sybil says, remember, Bennett is the secret sauce. He got Huberdeau going. Remember how bad Tkachuk looked last year before Bennett came back. Yeah, no disagreement. No disagreement. Boba says the only thing that can seemingly stop us is the cap. Yeah. And if Bobrovsky, if he ever ages, right? Because remember, Luongo's numbers were still really good at like 38, and then that hip just gave out on him. But he had the hip problems previous. But, Bobrovsky keeps himself in shape. It's, obviously it's a year-by-year thing at this point, but I'm not sure that there's a guarantee that he won't want to come back for another year or two after this contract's up. Cliffhanger says, I think Bennett's dynamic with Matt at the Flames and his toughness, I think is priceless. Yeah, talk text got you a little bit there, but I think I get your point. I want to keep Bennett at the right price. Like, we can't give him like 8x7 or something. We can't do that, right? 4x6.5. Yeah, we do that. And then you give in fact, you give Bennett 4x6.5, and then that's all you give Ekblad. I mean, look, there's only so cheap we're going to get them, right? I'd love to say that they're going to move on from him, but I don't think it's going to happen. Sybil says at some point we need Spencer to prove he can handle 1A, 1B situation. Look at how well Fleury is doing this year in that sort of situation. Yeah. I mean, we when Bob was doing poorly, we thought that's the route that we were going. Spencer did a good job the other day. That's first game, I think, ever in his entire career since he was 4 years old that he did not give up a goal in the first 5 minutes of the game. So that's good. Vincent says, Reinhardt found his game in the Toronto series, didn't look back. He's just we just stole him, like they said on the broadcast. I don't know which broadcast for the games you guys got, because I guess Goldie and Randy did call it, I guess, for scripts. There's highlights of them calling it. But the NHL guys that we had on NHL Network said literally that we stole Sam Reinhart from Buffalo. 58 says Bob has the rest of a career contract for me. As long as he wants to, there'll be a spot for him. Yeah, I would agree with that. Alatron says, what about 6 for 6.5? 6 by 6.5 for Bennett. No, he's older, but the chemistry he has with that second line is just too good. I mean, 4 by 6.5, I'm being greedy. That's like the deal Forsling signed, where you're just like, he signed for what, right? 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. I mean, I'm not gonna, if it ended up 6 by 6.5, I'm like, okay, yeah. But if he only took him for 4, because you're gonna want some kind of flexibility year 4, year 5, year 6, because at some point, like we talked about at the beginning, you're gonna have, a top 6 of all 33-year-olds, basically, give or take. Boba says, couldn't we trade Knight and clear some cap space for Bennett? I think if they were gonna trade Knight, though, that they would have. That's the thing with Spencer. I think if they were gonna do it, they already would have done it. Now watch us do it. But I think the way that Zito looks at it is we already spent the first round pick on him. We've already been paying him the 4.5. We've already paid the price salary cap wise. Like if we were going to trade Spencer Knight, we could have kept Random Montour. Let's put it that way. If we were, I think if we were gonna, we probably already would have. If it comes down to, Bennett's not the problem. If we want to sign Bennett, we can. What are you going to pay Ekblad? The money's there. It just depends on, you would only trade, if you're going to trade Spencer Knight, what are you getting in return? Because now you're opening up that hole at backup goaltender and possible goalie of the future. They've just invested so much into him that I think they're going to roll the dice or roll with him and see how far they can go with him. Hey, Jake, how you doing, bud? 58 says, I'm fine without Montour. Yeah, no, I understand. I'm not saying we should have done it, but I'm saying I think that was the call. I think, and there were rumors that we were trying to move Spencer Knight before Montour was gone. So that might have been something that Zito was playing with. But that would have been the only way. We talked about that a lot, last year. That would have been the only way to keep Montour was move Spencer Knight, and we see what happened. Yeah, I know he got a hat trick the other day. No, I didn't see that. I says that I see the video of Montour in the penalty box spraying the camera with the water bottle. No, I didn't see that. Colin says Knight is here to stay. Why trade him? Yeah, no, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think if they was gonna do it, Sybil said, I think a $4 million AAV for Ekblad is what he deserves. It's an overpay for his performance on ice, but don't overlook the intangibles. And that's completely accurate. Remember, he's already been making 7.5. I don't know how long that contract was. It wasn't 8 years, was it? How many years was that? Has he been making 7.5? Remember, that's what helped us with Reinhardt, was he had already been making 6.5 for some time. Some of these guys, they're making crap and then they get their one big contract. So the fact that Ekblad's already made so much money probably will help us. No, Jake says, did anyone else see Lombard rearrange that dude's jaw the other night? No. Damn it. Vincent says, so Knight wasn't traded because the return for goalies is nothing. Goalies in general are deficit. It's a better option to wait and see what happens with him. Yeah, agreed. He might have poked around, right? I mean, I'm going by what I saw on Twitter, so I don't know. But there was rumors that he was, knocking on doors. Well, what are you going to give? What are you going to give for a guy? I mean, he's pure potential, but especially coming out of the assistance program before he had even played, what are you going to do? Is somebody going to give you a 1 for him? What be? You know what I mean? I mean, that's barely even return. And, now our first round picks, I guess it would depend on where that pick was. But after you've invested that much time in him, it's just not worth it. Like Vincent says, let's just see where he turns out. All right, you tagged me in the Lombard clip. All right, I haven't looked, obviously. I've been staying off of screens. Yeah, Lamborghini, right? Yeah. Hey, but look, we learned something the other day. Don't mess with Nate Schmidt, huh? That wasn't shabby. All right. He don't have the flow, right? Schmidt does not. Schmidt can't take the helmet off and do the Glory of Vanderbilt flow thing there. But don't piss off Nate Schmidt. I think we all learned that the other day. Holy crap. No. Silver says Barkov, Bennett, Chuck, Forsling, all 50% retained for Shesterkin. No. We already made the Shesterkin deal. We already made the Shesterkin deal. It ain't never going to happen. I read somewhere that they said that the Rangers said whatever Shesterkin wants, we're going to pay him, so don't even worry about it. I mean, and that makes sense. So what are they going to do? Give him 12 and a half? Jeez. Right? If he gets 12 and a half, Jeremy Swayman is going to be so pissed off. Which makes me hope Shesterkin gets 12 and a half. Right? There's Swayman thinking he was the key to resetting the goalie market, and Shesterkin turns down, what did he turn down? 11.6? Something like that. I get a kick out of that. So it's okay. Aljon says, oh God, I saw some people in the comments of the section of the Gens 95 video of the fight saying it was dirty by us and that Schmidt didn't fight fair because Marchman still had his clothes on. Are you kidding me? Really? Like I said, they already hate us. It wasn't fair. How about don't elbow the dude in the back head first into the boards? How about that? And look, that wasn't the first time. All right? That wasn't the first time. I talked about this in the stream. Earlier in the game, it wasn't Marchman, but somebody else had come from behind and elbowed Schmidt right in the back and sent him right into the boards. It could have been called, but it would have been a weak call. But they still did it. It was still an elbow to the back, right to the ribs. Marchman came in, did the same exact thing. Yeah, the arm went up, but that's twice. He got what he deserved. Marchman did. I said Swayman got paid and now the Bruins are losing. Right. Yeah. Incorrigible says, yo, what's good, Jaws? About to hop in the shower and head to Orlando for a couple days. Have fun, buddy. Have fun. Alex said exactly. It was the first period and it was the second time it happened to Schmidt. That's why the response was so violent. Yeah. And I said it when it happened, the first call. So I got no problem with them not calling that. I'd rather them not call that than start calling all of that 2 minutes, because it ruins the game. The first one, it was borderline. So for me, I'm like, okay, don't call that. All right. But then they did it again. So, but look, the comment section anywhere on YouTube these days. I mean, I'm blessed. I don't know if it's because people are afraid of me or what, but if you go to the comment section on my recaps and then the comment section, like anywhere else on YouTube, it's like a different planet. Like I leave comments and stuff on other things and I get responses and I see the comments and I'm like, holy crap, people are, this is a good one. This is a short, this is a one of mine though. I got a comment the other day. I just started laughing because you're just wondering what are people thinking? It was a comment on one of the videos that I did when I had the dog, the dental powder and all of that, when I had them as a sponsor. It's a product review. Okay? My job is to go, so here's this phone. Press the phone and it will call the number. And then here's how, okay, it's a product review. The comment was, I only made it 30 seconds. This guy talks too much. And I'm just sitting there looking at it. And I'm just like laughing my ass off. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Were you just expecting me to just be like, I mean, it was what it was. It is what it is. But I get a kick out of the comment section. That's all I could say. Alex says, I saw one more on in particular say the refs favoring the Panthers because 3 guys jumped Marchment and nothing was called on Chucky for. But that's not true. I mean, Chucky got called. The other guy got called too. Vincent says, these people, by the way, Marchment was flailing his arms every which way because Bennett grabbed him and Schmidt hit him first. Yeah, I says the worst comment is I saw that the recaps are faked, right? Right? Yeah. I says kids today with the short attention span. I mean, I got a kick out of it. It's like this guy talks too much. It's a product. And I don't even know. I was gonna respond, but it just wasn't worth the aggravation. You know what I mean? But for me, like when I see stuff like that, it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is I can't have a conversation with that person, and I genuinely like I want to know. It's like, okay, well, what were you thinking when you left that? I'm like, how did you click on a product review and then get mad when the dude was talking in the product? Like, I gotta know. Like, that's the kind of shit that bothers me. Not that they left the comment, but that I'm never gonna know. I'm never gonna know what was this idiot thinking he was getting ready to watch. I says they could be trolling. I don't know. Hey, True, how you doing, buddy? How's your back? I see you lived through your surgery. Vincent says I'm gonna unsub if I'm fake. Honestly, yeah. Well, not only am I fake, Vincent, but I faked the whole Kachuk thing. I actually had a secret source. That knew 3 days in advance that trade was going down. It's weird because Zito didn't know it was going down, but I knew. You're sore, Nick? Yeah. I hope you're okay, man. I hope you'll be all right. Are you have any days off of work are you getting? Or are you at work? So, anyway. Well, everybody tonight, here's all I'll say about the election. If you've never watched it's a short video. Well, it's an old video. It's an old video, the Eddie Murphy skit about voting for Jesse Jackson. It's freaking hysterical. I can't play it here because they get copyrighted and it's got F-bombs and all of that. But whatever happens, we ain't gonna know what's gonna happen tonight anyway. Just remember, it doesn't matter anyway. It's all a show. It's all a movie. I says, I don't know how they can say it's fake. You can hear me doing on the recaps on the live streams, right? Right? Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for me. I got to get moving. I got packing shit, but this is good. Justice for Peanut and Fred. Justice for Peanut and Fred. Yeah, hit the like button. All right, everybody. True says it's the selection. Voting is just so we think we have freedom of choice, right? Bonus says it does matter, Jaws, and to say that it doesn't matter, you have privilege. and go vote. Yeah, go vote Zito. Go vote Zito. I'm not saying the vote doesn't matter. I'm just saying that, how can I put this? It matters, but it don't. Like you vote, and that's all you can do. And that's all you can do is vote, and that's the result. And it's like, all right, what's going to happen now, and how do you make the best of it? That's all you can do. That's all you can do. All right, everybody. Yeah, vote for Vasi and vote for Cooch. I'll vote for Coochie all day long. Yeah, true. You with your bad back and me and my vertigo. We'll make a good revolt. Huh? True and I at the front lines. True with his bad back, and I'll be like, hold on, wait a second. I gotta load my rifle. Hold on a second. I can't see. Yeah. We'll make real good revolutionaries. Oh, geez. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And pop one for me tonight. This should be a show.